I'm the animal care team leader. My name is Wade, W-A-D-E, Krasnow, K-R-A-S-N-O-W.
Great. And the correct name for our species of tamarin that we're talking about here is?
They are the golden lion tamarins.
And what makes golden lion tamarins so unique, and why is it special for the Valley Zoo?
Well, I think all animals are unique, but these guys are... First, I'll tell a little bit about them. Golden lion tamarins are a species of tamarin that are native to the southeast areas of Brazil. They live in rainforests, specifically a coastal rainforest. And there's only about between 500 to 1,000 left in the wild right now. There's important here for us because the zoos around the world are working together to create a breeding program for them. They're on an SSP, which is a species survival plan. And there's about 475 captive animals. There's 230 in North America, and there's 2 here at the Edmonton Valley Zoo. Their names are Jack and Hayden, and they are brothers. We got them from Toronto, so they had a surplus there. We had to actually apply, and it took about 4 years to get accepted into this program to have these guys. We got 2 males because we have to start off showing the SSP that we know how to look after them. We already have Geldes monkeys, so they're similar, related type of species of monkey. And hopefully in the future we'll be able to participate in breeding these animals, and maybe one day some of the ones bred here might be released back into the wild. One of the really interesting things about the golden lion tamarin is that they are a success story when it comes to releasing them back into the wild. About 140 have been released since 1984. Of those, to this day, about 30 are surviving, and from them, some have bred with wild ones even, and they've had 95 offspring, so we can say that it has been a success reintroducing animals. Now, it's hard to reintroduce them without habitat, so that's one thing we have to look at protecting, is more habitats so we can have more back into the wild.
So who monitors? You say you're sort of given the 2 males to see how the zoo does with them. Who monitors that, and who sort of controls where they're distributed in captivity? Well,
there's a group who oversees the species survival plan for the golden lion tamarin, and they meet every year and they go through all the golden lion tamarins that there are. They look at where they can send some, how they can mate some up to have the greatest genetic diversity kept possible in captivity, and then they come up with the recommendations. And in order for us to have these animals here, these golden lion tamarins, we have to follow the recommendations, as with all SSP species that we have here.
And how old are they?
These guys are about 2 years old right now. They can live about 15 years. That's in the wild, and in captivity they've lived up to 30 years. So captivity has been good for them, but we actually prefer to have them in the wild because that's where they're from.
Are they a pretty friendly animal, or how's their behavior?
Well, it depends on the particular animal. We have 2 here, Jack and Hayden, they're the brothers. One was hand raised, so he's the one that likes to jump on his zookeeper's shoulders and hang out there. The other one, he's not so particularly fond of hanging around his zookeepers. He just hangs out in his enclosure. So we don't like to have hand-raised animals because they don't make good parents. But sometimes you just have to hand-raise them. With the mother, she wasn't able to look after that one, so they hand-raised it, and we're lucky that they did because now we have him here, and he's a great ambassador for everybody who comes to visit the zoo because they can learn about conservation, endangered species, and they can see a really cute little animal right here at the zoo. It'll kind of look like little lions when you look at their furry heads and their manes.
What led the species to be in the precarious state that it's in? Was it loss of habitat or other factors? Or?
It's mainly loss of habitat why we have species that are in decline. There's also overhunting, hunting for the pet trade, and especially with loss of habitat, then they're easily preyed upon by the predators who go after them. But also without their habitat, they don't have ways to survive, eat, and stuff like that. So Yeah, habitat loss is a big one. The species in the wild only live in 3 isolated areas, so inbreeding would be a problem if we didn't release them back into the wild.
Ideally, how long would you have them here until you release them back in the wild?
Well, these ones will not go into the wild. It's only particular ones that the SSP will consider for that. These boys are going to stay here, and we will, display them for a long time until they pass away, and hopefully we'll get more. But when they do choose to release them, what they do is, it's a unique program. They allow them to run around the zoo where they are, free range. That's just so they get used to being out of an enclosure, and they have a place where they nest and feed them so they can capture them. Then they send them back to to Brazil, and they monitor them there for close to 6-8 months, even more, to see that they're adjusting well to the new life back to their home range there. So the process can take up to 2 years for them to be re-released.
Do you have other species of tamarins at the zoo?
We have Geldes monkeys. They are a type of tamarin as well. Tamarin marmosets are all related.
But it's this specific, the golden lion one, that is this, obviously the one we're talking about today, but they're the ones that are they most at risk of those species there, or is it hard to define really?
All little primates, species like that, are at risk. The golden lions are particularly at risk because they come from a small area, and that area has been fragmented by converting the forests into plantations for products that we use.
And this is specifically in Brazil?
They come from Brazil, yes.
And I heard you say something earlier about how all of the golden lion tamarins are technically owned by Brazil?
Yeah, that's a unique thing about the species, is that the government of Brazil owns all of them in the world, and it's with their permission that they go through the SSP in North America, and they provide the final permission for us to be able to house him. So it did take a long time. I first applied 4 years ago. We were turned down, and then I reapplied 2 years ago, and we were approved, and had to wait until some were available. And when Toronto had some available, I asked if we could have them, and we had to get approval from their end too, and they called and said yes, we could have them, and so we have them here. So after a long process, a long wait, we finally have them, and we're very pleased because we like to work with other zoos around the world in order to help breed these endangered animals, and have them for people to see and learn about.
Must speak to the quality of work being done here by everybody at the Valley Zoo, that you can get that sort of permission.
Yeah, definitely. We have great professionals here who look after the animals, and we're constantly learning as we go. With the new people coming on and learning about new species. But I'm very proud of everyone who works here. They do a really great job, and the animals we have here are thriving and reproducing, and hopefully we get into more and more SSPs, and we'll be able to work with the global zoo community in helping to protect all these animals.
Any other details we missed? Anything you'd care to add?
Oh, I think I got it all.
Covered a lot of bases there.
Yeah, I did.
Good. Thank you very much.
Okay.